We've heard Mason Ellis is doing pretty well at that nickel spot. I'm just wondering, what has he done well so far, and how has he adapted to that position?
Mason has so many, great attributes. He's very, very intelligent. He can run. Does a good job of processing. And so with him, for him to kind of move around and play a little bit of the strong safety early on and move to the nickel to help us out, he's really kind of thrived in that position. So he does a good job of being physical in the box when need be. And that position is always tough because it's a mix of a linebacker and also a little mix of a secondary DB guy. And he does a great job of being physical when you need it, and also has the ability to cover and help us out when you have to go out and pass coverage as well. So really, really excited about what he's done these past few days at camp. We got to keep just stacking days and keep building on what we need to do so we can have a successful season.
Who do you think he's competing with most at nickel?
Well, him and then Saeed is doing a great job there. You have Laquan Robinson, who's also there too. So, at the end of the day, it's kind of a position that is always going to be, some type of, you got to go out there and go every day. You know what I'm saying? And we want competition, and we've had that thus far. And these guys keep pushing one another, and I expect it to happen as we get closer to camp ending and get closer to game week.
What sort of growth have you seen from Austin over the course of camp?
Well, it's really, really, promising to see him, as a true freshman, just kind of getting to the speed of the game. His biggest deal is, at the end of the day, man, you got to stay healthy. You got to do a good job of things you put in your body, keeping your weight so that you can play, a 12, 13 game season. You know what I mean? And so at the end of the day, that's what we got to keep just preaching to him. But his ability to run and cover, his ability to go in there and tackle as a corner, it's really, really promising, and really the sky's the future for him, man. He can do what he wants to do. Just kind of lock in and just keep going and keep stacking days.
In general, it's been a young cornerback group for you.
Yeah.
What's that been like guiding those guys through fall camp?
Well, I think as a coach, every once in a while you need, like I said once before, you need a reset. Because ultimately, last year we had two guys who were veteran, two guys who were in the NFL, and Kobe and Melo. And then you get these freshmen in here that you had to kind of start just from the little things. You can't assume that they know. And so at the end of the day, that's what we've been doing in our meeting. Where's my alignment? Where are my eyes at? And communication. So this past couple of days, right, that's what we've been kind of harping on. Where's my alignment, right? I got to have good communication when people shift, motion, and move, right? And then also, too, I got to do my job. And so that is the biggest thing that you have when you have young corners, making sure you're not looking in the backfield, right? Get your eyes on your guy. And when you do that, and they see that they can be successful. So that's kind of the biggest thing that you have for young guys. Those guys have been so athletic, in their high school careers. They could look in the backfield, right, and play a double move and get an interception. Everybody's high-fiving. And when you're going out against E-Man and those type of guys who can run and move, man, if you're doing that, it's going to be a long afternoon. So those are things that we just keep harping on those guys as we move forward.
What have you seen from Jalen Todd?
He's had probably, one of the most solid camps because he's a solid guy. He's not a guy who is overly talkative, right? But he gets on that field, man. He takes pride in what he does. And, I tell guys all the time, if you had a son like Jalen, man, boy, you'd be happy. He's where he's supposed to be, right? People respect him. He's never on the list, you know what I mean? And so all those things, when you add them up, they add to a really solid player. And then you see that same thing on the football field. So really, really solid what he's done. He's done a great job in coverage. He's done a great job of fitting the run when he has to, and really, really excited about him too. So our big deals now is really just polishing as we kind of get through, get comfortable in the calls that Coach DK's going to call, his go-tos, and go out there and let him fly around.
With DJ, how much has he been able to do over the course of camp?
Yeah, he was kind of nicked up, and he's kind of moving forward as he kind of progressed. You're starting to kind of see him, run around a little bit more out there. He's doing a good job, you know what I mean? So we're just keep stacking days, get him out there. He's a vocal guy who has a lot of experience, and so when he's out on the football field, it calms all those younger guys down, and that's what you kind of look forward to him. And so, at the end of the day, he's doing a good job, and like I said too, he's going to keep on building, and he'll do great jobs for us here this season.
Maybe you answered it there, but when he's limited, not doing, how have you seen him step up and help some of those younger guys that are getting more of the reps in those situations?
Well, just on the sideline. I mean, yesterday, he was able to help us out. We had to go to the box, and we're in a new stadium, and he helps out with substitution. Those young guys come off the field and he talks to them, you know, calms them down. Hey, this is what you saw. This is what you're looking at. He's a veteran presence out there. I mean, it's really good to have. You know what I mean? He's well spoken. He articulates very, very well, and he's played a lot of football. And so that's what helps those guys out. And sometimes as a coach, you know, you're hollering and yelling. And he's just a calming spirit on the sideline, and he did a great job over these last few days as he kind of gets back on the football field here now.
Brandon, through the scrimmages, what have you seen, and what are your thoughts on the secondary and scrimmages?
Well, I think we have flashes of being a really consistent, you know, secondary. And then every once in a while we have some lapses. I think that's what we got to get rid of. You know what I mean? And I think at the end of the day, we're working towards that. You know, once these guys kind of start kind of working out the 1s and 2s and 3s, and they start kind of getting with the group they're going to go with. And, you know, I think one thing that we do here is do a great job of mixing people as you go. You guys have been out to practice before, man. There are no 1s, 2s, and 3s. You know what I mean? It's everybody, you know, kind of mixing in there. And so now, as you kind of go towards the end of camp, you start kind of seeing what guys kind of mesh together, and you start going that direction. So overall, I think that we have a great opportunity to be successful. I think these guys keep, you know, buying in, and they do a great job in the walkthroughs, in the walkthrough room, and coming in. I mean, this is a hungry group. They've done a great job of doing what you asked them to do. And I think if they continue to do that, you'll see a lot of great things here on Saturday afternoon.
What are you seeing from Jalil Hurley?
You know what? He's probably, you know, when you look at it, maybe one of the most athletic guys in the room. And I think at the end of the day, you know, he was a backup at his last institution. When you get here, he has to train his mindset that, hey, you're not a backup. We need you to go and play. But when you talk about a guy who can run and change direction, he's a guy that he has all those attributes. Now, we just got to just fine tune it a little bit and get him comfortable with the communication and stuff like that. And he's doing a great job of taking coaching. And I'm really, really excited about him. And like I said, he's another guy too. Although he's still a young guy when you kind of look at his playing experience, and we just got to keep taking day by day, and he's going to be very, very special, I think, in the future.
Last year on any given down, you knew it was going to be Mello and Kobe out there. Do you see you're rotating through more guys this year?
Yeah, you have to, because you know, it's the next man up kind of mentality here, you know, in our secondary. You know what I mean? And if somebody goes down, next guy's gonna pop up. And so yeah, we see a little bit more rotation. And a lot of that too is we just got to see who meshes well with one another, right? And then also too, what can they do? Because when you're going with the A group or the B group, right, that as a receiver from, you know, as DB facing a receiver, that skill level a lot of times is a little bit different too. So we got to mix and put people in different situations to see how they react to game situations, to different stresses, and that's what we've been trying to do these last few weeks.
DK talked about Saeed as someone that had a really good summer going into camp.
Yeah.
Now that we're kind of at the end of camp, what has he offered you guys?
Well, the good thing about Saeed is, number one, he's another veteran guy who's played a lot of football. He's a quiet guy, but he has a lot of confidence. You know what I mean? And he can play nickel, he can play corner. And so what you'll see, the guy's kind of, you know, a Swiss Army knife type of deal. You know, where he can play the nickel, he can go out there and play the corner. And so he gives us that versatility that you need. And he's another guy too. He's just stacking days, right? He lives in the film room, and that's what gives him a chance. I mean, you know, he asks great questions. He takes great notes. You know, every once in a while at nighttime, man, I go through their notebooks, and he takes great notes. And I expect to see that, you know, translate on Saturday.
Anything else for Coach Shelby?